Hi guys, Mark and Bec from We Travel Alone, and today finds us at the Pullman Melbourne City Centre Hotel in Melbourne. So, just last weekend we were in Beijing. This weekend we're in Melbourne.
I know, it's been a pretty huge few weeks. We ventured over to China, to Qingdao, to visit our daughter. So actually, in the last three weekends we've been in a different city.
We have, actually.
So we had Qingdao, Beijing, and then Melbourne this weekend.
We've gone from a city of 10 million to a city of 25 million to a city of 5 million. So
Also a city of 34 degrees feels like 40. A city of 25 degrees feels like 26. And then this weekend, a city of 13 feels like 8.
Yes.
So for 3 weeks we've been all over the shop, really, haven't we?
That's it. So the climate has definitely swung around in that time from northern hemisphere side of the world to southern hemisphere side of the world where we are today. Just before we go on about China, I just want to let you know we went and seen Belinda Carlisle last night. Oh. Belinda Carlisle was amazing. Relived my best 80s.
It was definitely
as did all
out.
The crowd.
But the best bit about it is, if it had been a matinee performance, it would have been perfect. There was soft cushion seating, ooh la la. It was easy to get to, it was comfortable. The drinks were reasonably priced compared to other places that we've gone to see concerts in Melbourne. And it was actually a really good venue, wasn't it? The Palais.
People were about to lift the lid off the Palais when
you could
Belinda
feel
sang Heaven is a Place on Earth, I can tell you. It was rocking.
It was. So that's why we've been in Melbourne.
Belinda wasn't rocking in China, but we were rocking in China. So, 10 days in China. Not 10 days, probably 12 days.
Yeah, it's 12.
12 days in China.
Yeah.
8 days in Qingdao, 4 days in Beijing. Flew to Qingdao with Xiaomen Air, which you can find an article on the We Travel Alone website about Xiaomen this week.
We'll put it in the comments below.
Yep. And we flew home with Air China from Beijing. So it was 9 hours to Xiaomen and then 2.5 hours to Qingdao. And on the way home, it was just a flat 11 hours and about 10 minutes, I think it was, that we arrived in Melbourne from. So as I was saying, there's an article on the website comparing Xiaomen to Air China, so you can read that.
Another video on a bit of a review of the two Chinese airlines that we flew with, because we're also going in December. So do we fly another?
We do. We fly Capital Airlines in December.
So, because it's quite a concern for a lot of people, Chinese airlines, it can be confusing and a bit confronting. So we'll do another video on the 3 or the 2, and then we'll update it with the 3rd when we finally go.
And we're actually flying a 4th one too, but that's not back to Australia because we're flying from in December from Qingdao to Bangkok via Guangzhou with China Southern. So that will take the total to 4 Chinese airlines in the space of 4 months because there's not really a lot of option flying from Australia. There's only really Qantas that flies that route and only fly select routes and not every day. So, but there's up to, I think I looked at it, 10 different Chinese airlines flying China-Australia routes. So plenty of choice there. So we had a good time in China. Really enjoyed China, which we knew we would because we had been to China previously. I think China gets a bad rap because a lot of people that have not been to China form their opinions by what the Western media says about China, and what the Chinese government does really doesn't have anything to do with its people or what goes on with everyday life, I should say.
Yeah, we've never had an issue, and this time we actually took Mark's sister Rosie with us, and she has travelled before to the UK and but never an Asian country, and she came with us, and she was just amazed at how easy, or not easy, the ease of the cities is probably different from travelling easily.
And really how Western
Yeah,
how
it
Western
was.
China is.
Yeah.
Because, hey, if you like your Starbucks in, say, Los Angeles, or you like Starbucks here, or your McDonald's in Melbourne, or, you like your KFC in London, you can have all
You can
them
have that.
in any
Yeah.
city in China. You like to go to the mall and you like Western brands
Yeah,
like
they're
Pandora,
there.
they're there.
Yeah.
You want a new pair of Nikes while you're in China. Hey, they're there
There.
as well.
You'll pay the same amount, but they're still there. But you will find that there might be a Starbucks coffee in Qingdao or in Beijing, and next to it will be a Luckin coffee, which is basically the Chinese equivalent of Starbucks, and it's cheaper. Luckin coffee was cheaper than by far by
half price.
yeah. So, and the coffee was just as good. Sometimes I think when you travel, it's those uncertainties of just having a go and maybe making that mistake that prevents people from just having a go, and that's probably why that happens. Where you go to what like Starbucks and Macca's and KFC.
So Qingdao was a little bit different than Beijing, obviously. Smaller city on the coast,
Yeah.
prettier city. Less people, but also less foreign tourists.
Yes.
Qingdao is a domestic hotspot for Chinese tourists because it's by the sea. It's pretty. There's nice beaches. There's water, things like that. So Chinese domestic tourists go there, but not so much international tourists. So we did receive quite a few stares and looks, and quite a few people even stopped and asked, were interested about what we were doing in Qingdao. I would just wave and talk to everyone and say hi. If people looked at me, I'd look back at them. You'd find people trying to sneakily take photos of you, and when I did, I'd point my camera at them and take a photo of them. Just to
or sometimes we just pose for them. They do
stir
love
them up
the
and be friendly.
and the ones I think that sort of went past us with their mouths open, like, and you'd sort of go hi, and they just sort of did that and hi or bye bye, and yeah, it was just it's a nice thing though. Like we didn't feel threatened or anything like that by it. Sometimes it becomes a bit annoying when there's sort of a group of people, I suppose, but not once did we feel unwelcome or that we were unsafe or anything like that.
To be honest, talking about safety, I would feel safer out in the morning walking around in China than I would here in Melbourne. I went out this morning in Melbourne at 7 a.m. and the city centre here is full of homeless people on drugs, sleeping in the alleyways. There was spew on the street. There was people yelling at each other. They were really having a blue out the front of our hotel here. Not once did I see any of that in China on the streets of a morning, and I was getting up 6 a.m. going out for a walk down to the beach in Qingdao. So yeah, in that retrospect, I would actually feel safer in China than I would in Australia in a major city. So China's good. Like I said, we've been to China before. We like that. We're going back to China again in December. Looks like our daughter's going to be there for at least 12 months, possibly longer. So China might even be on our schedule again at some stage towards the end of next year, possibly. But yeah, off to Bangkok. So another part of the tale. We're going to Qingdao again for 8 days up until Christmas.
Yeah.
And then on Boxing Day, we're flying from Qingdao to Bangkok for 11 days. Been a long time since I've been to Bangkok. We spent, I think, 10 days in Bangkok as well back in 2019. And then we took off to northern Thailand and into Laos. And then we actually went back to Bangkok for about 3 or 4 days and went before we headed to Siem Reap and Angkor Wat in Cambodia. So it's been quite a bit of time since we've been to Thailand and Bangkok in general. Really enjoyed it last time. Looking forward to it again this time. So, in all honesty, I'm probably looking forward to going there more than going to China this time. Only because we just came from China. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to, because there's actually a huge weather difference as well in Qingdao. So we've just gone from the heat of Qingdao. At Christmas time, it's actually going to be anywhere between -2 and 5 degrees. So technically we might get our third winter white Christmas.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It'll be good to see how the Chinese and celebrate Christmas. Apparently it's becoming a little more common now. So it's a bit commercialised though. So
it's sort of like, I guess, if you're an Australian, you would know that Halloween is not a holiday that most Australians embrace, but it's starting to be embraced, I think, mainly because retailers see it as an opportunity to add another season to their calendar of things that they can make sales on. So you see lots of Halloween stuff being sold in Australia. The younger generation possibly embrace it a little bit, but the older generation, like myself, pretty much dismiss it because it was never a thing when I was a kid. So it's not something we celebrate, but hey, little kids like to get dressed up. Parents like to buy costumes
and they love lollies.
And spend money. So
they love lollies.
So in that retrospect, it's
something that
something
so we're
good.
thinking Christmas might be the same, but Willow's host family spent a few years in England, so they do understand our Christmas traditions. So, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah, well, anyway, like I said, we're here at Pullman, Melbourne City Centre. Really nice hotel. Haven't stayed at Pullman before, so it's in a very good spot right on Swanston Street. Swanston Street's like the foodie area of Melbourne, so for Asians, I should say, or for Asian restaurants
food
from different countries. So that's right up our alleyway, like we said, as we've been to Asia a lot. So yeah, really enjoyed this area. We'll definitely come back and stay in this part of Melbourne again. Sometimes we stay the other side of the river in South Bank. There's a phone ringing, not quite sure why. Anyway, we'll wrap it up and find out what that phone is all about. So, from Mark and Bec in Melbourne, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.